Hello everyone and welcome back to Cascapades, your favourite cruise travel vlog. Well, it might not be your favourite, but one day it will be. And this is why. I'm going to give you all the information you need for the ports on the Carnival Pride June Norwegian Fjords cruise. Now, I'm going to be sailing on this one and I'm very, very excited. It's going to be sailing from Dover in sort of the London area. It's called London Dover, but it's nowhere near London. And as sailing on a Carnival ship from the UK, this will be a first for me. I have sailed with Carnival a lot, but always from Europe, so Italy, mainly from Venice, from Trieste, and also a lot of the cruises from the US, mainly from Port Canaveral. Also, I have sailed from Miami as well. So this will be a first sailing on a Carnival ship from the UK. I have sailed with P&O from the UK, with Princess from the UK, but this is the first one with Carnival. So really excited. Today's episode is going to be about the final port on this cruise, and that is Bergen in Norway. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Bergen, but first of all, the practicals. We arrive at 7 a.m. and we are there till 5 p.m. and then we sail back from there to London Dover. Bergen's actually the second largest city in the whole country of Norway. It's known as the capital of the fjords because it is the biggest city there, and it has a population of 285,000 people. Put that into perspective with the one we just left in Olden, which only had a population of about 400. So kind of crazy. The municipality of Bergen is 180 square miles and the city is surrounded by mountains. In fact, it's actually known to some as the city of 7 mountains because there are so many mountains around. 7 to be precise. Did you pick up on that? Trade began here in the 1020s and Bergen actually served as Norway's capital city during that time and up until the 13th century. And it wasn't until 1830 when Bergen lost the right of calling itself the largest city in Norway. This is now Oslo, which is the capital city of Norway, but it used to be called Christiania in the day, but now it is Oslo. The city of Bergen is an international centre for aquaculture, that's the farming of fish, shipping, petroleum, and of course tourism. Over 300 cruise ship calls a year here in Bergen and 500,000 of cruise passengers visiting annually, with most of them being German and British due to the cruise lines of AIDA and P&O coming here quite often. But yeah, there are a lot of things to see and do in Bergen. It is finally your opportunity to explore a city and go shopping. We all love a bit of shopping. So let's look at food and drink. I love this section every time. And what I've done is, as normal, gone through the options of places to eat. And I've pulled out a recommendation for a cheap eats if you're wanting something good for your budget or maybe just small appetite. Mid-range, this is something sort of the dinner that we would go to with our family and friends, just for a sort of a Friday night, we're going out for dinner, woo! And then there's a fine dining option. Now this is the sort of place that you would go out for a special occasion. So if you're wanting to up the ante, go somewhere a little bit fancy, this is the one for you. So let's start with the cheap eats. I'm going to recommend somewhere called Lunchespressen, which I think is the Norwegian way of saying lunch express or express lunch. This is a place that's famous for its sandwiches. It's baguette style sandwiches. So you could think you're in France. So it's like baguette sandwiches with fillings and coffees and just local things like that. One of their specialties is actually a chicken and mango sandwich, which sounds quite nice if you ask me. I've actually put the link below to their Facebook page, so you can actually have a look at some of the pictures of these baguettes. They look delicious, and I imagine they taste delicious too. Bread in Norway is sublime. What about mid-range then? I've chosen somewhere called Opus 16. Now this is part of the Edward Grieg Heritage Hotel. So it's a hotel restaurant and it provides table service Norwegian food, a bit more upmarket than the places you would have been to before, because it's not obviously local handmade food, it's a proper restaurant, but it will be table service, you know what you're getting, and it will be of a high quality. It's quite elegant, it's sort of big city eating. I'll put the link below. Now, fine dining option. You are in a big city. There was lots to choose from here, but I've settled on Restaurant 1877. This is located in the venerable meat bazaar, which is known as the Kjotbazaren. This is right in the city centre of Bergen. And in 1877, the year that the market opened, that is given the name to the restaurant. A meal here is prepared with knowledge and love for food. The chefs here are well trained, they've been to culinary school, they know what they're talking about, and they have really enticing palates. Their menus are built with a close relationship with local suppliers, so you know that everything that's being cooked is from the area, which is really, really great, and it's been fresh as well. They go out in the mornings to get the fish from the fishermen. It's that good. They also focus on Norwegian food culture, taking on sort of a bit of a journey between different areas of Norway and what they eat locally. They've also been especially inspired by the food of the area, and the link is below as usual. So let's talk about sightseeing and practicalities. Cruise ships dock at your Skjolten harbour in Bergen. Most cruise ships dock at the cruise port there, and it's a short sort of half-mile walk along the waterfront to the popular Bergen wharf area. Larger ships sometimes do dock at the Dokken port, which is a bit further away, and there's a free shuttle there, but I think we will be docking in the Skjolten dock. Bergen is actually the southern terminus for Hurtigruten. Now, Hurtigruten is a cruise line for Norway. It's a cruise line with a difference. It's not so much a luxury cruise like Carnival, where you're getting all your food and everything's lovely and you're having deck parties. It's more a cross between a cruise ship and a passenger ferry. So they go to a lot of the Norway coasts, and they even have cars and things on board, which is very interesting. So when sailing to and from Bergen, the ship will actually be passing through some impressive bridges and has to zigzag into open waters. So you actually go through some little inlets, some islands, and it's quite fun to see them dodging all of these areas. It's quite a good little place to be. So make sure you're on deck for sailing, if you can get up that early. So let's talk about sightseeing and attractions. There's a number of attractions here, and surveys show that most tourists in Bergen love the atmosphere and the cultural landscape and find the architecture more compelling than the typical sites. So let's think about a few places. So Bergen, this is the World Heritage Site and holds some of the very first buildings ever built here in Bergen, dating back to the 11th century. And this is only about 500 metres away from the port. Similar, right next door is the Bryggens Museum. This is a great, beautiful, modern building. Just the building itself is beautiful, so take some photos. This is based on the findings of the archaeological excavation of Bergen that took place in the 1950s to 70s. Old Bergen, so this is an open-air museum of characteristic 18th and 19th century wooden houses, similar to the ones you would have seen in Stavanger. Placed on squares, streets and narrow alleys, you'll find a bakery, you'll find a dentist, a photographer, a jeweller, a shopkeeper, a tailor, etc. All the old-fashioned things that are here still to see. For those who like an aquarium, Bergen Aquarium has one of Europe's largest collections of fish and invertebrates from the North Sea, as well as tropical sea and freshwater sections, outdoor and indoor pools where you can watch seals and penguins and things like that. That's a lot of fun. There's also Hakon's Hall, and Rosenkrantz Tower, which was built during the reign of King Hakon Hakonsson between 1247 and 1261. It was the largest and most imposing building of the royal residency back in the 13th century, when Bergen was still the political centre and capital of Norway. Today, it's used as a royal ceremonial hall, so the royal family come here for any sort of ceremonies or big events, and it's located bang smack in the middle of Bergen. The final option on my list is the Hanseatic Museum. This is one of the oldest and most well-preserved wooden buildings in Bergen, furnished in the style of the 1700s to give an intimate picture of the life of a merchant. So whatever you do in Bergen, make sure you have a great time. This is the perfect opportunity to go shopping, because obviously the last city we were in, Stavanger, was all of the shops were closed on a Sunday. So when you're here, you will have the perfect opportunity to go shopping, get some local stuff, see how Norwegians live, and really get some nice experience in the culture. Do go try food, do go try local drinks, do go shopping. Give these people some money. They've been without cruise ship passengers for quite some time. For the last 2 years, there have been no calls or very few calls. So these people who rely on tourist trade, please support them if you can. If you're thinking of getting something as a souvenir from the ship, maybe get a souvenir from one of the ports instead, just to support those local merchants that really, really do rely on it. Practicalities, as always: smart, sensible walking shoes, always. Water, bring it with you if you can. At least if you are in a city like Bergen, you will be able to find water everywhere. But remember, Norway is very expensive. It's not part of the EU, so it doesn't have access to the sort of European trade deals. And so a lot of things in Norway are quite expensive because there are a lot of things are imported in. So yeah, things are expensive. Bring water if you can. Mini bank is the term for an ATM if you need to get any cash, but remember, card here is king. Now I've put the links to all of the restaurants in the description below. If you would like and subscribe the video, that really does help. And if you do want to donate something towards the support of this vlog, there is a link to my Ko-Fi. It only costs $3 to give a little bit to sort of support the working of the vlog. That was the last vlog of this series. I may well post an extra bonus episode just covering the practicalities again. But for now, see you at the seas.